Hey there, morning. I just had a total I just had a total meltdown. I shouldn't even have to stumble over the words I know by now. It's been so internal, and now I'm speaking about it. Not sure who's gonna listen, but you never know. So I just had a total meltdown because I can't find my hair cutting scissors that I just bought a few months ago and used at Halloween because I cut bangs for my costume. I Dream a Genie, and little red velvet hat, and my hair, and yeah, anyways, I had bangs. I cut myself bangs for the costume and put the scissors in a bathroom drawer. But I have 2 drawers. That's it. 2 drawers. And I've ripped them apart twice. And the whole time I'm losing my mind. I'm not losing my mind right now. It'd be interesting for me to videotape that. I've never videotaped that. But losing my mind because I can't find them that I used months ago. And just tearing things apart. And it's still morning, and this is what happens. This is what happens if I can't find something, or I forget something, or it. Now that I'm not drinking, I have more opportunity to discover what that really feels like and what I'm going through. I should be able to learn to grasp that more now, not drinking, and which makes absolute sense, but it makes absolute sense. So I guess that's what I gotta learn, is grasp what that feels like, what I'm going through at that moment. Like, it's like fear, some fear in there of losing my mind. Like, I couldn't find the scissors. There's scissors all over the house. I have sewing scissors and kitchen scissors and food scissors and just little craft scissors, and I have scissors all over. Why would I go to the bathroom to get the hair cutting scissors, to use them for something else, and then not put them back in the most logical place? So these things kind of like, maybe somebody normal, am I not normal? Somebody else would go, huh, interesting. No, I lose my mind. I mean, it's just blowing up, just rage, like, why? And I'm doing that action from trauma. It's like, but another perspective, it looks like anger management is needed, but it's something that hits. It's almost like I can see myself from outside myself while I'm doing that. And that side's thinking logical, like, you stop it, you're insane, stop it, but this other side of me is just going livid. And after a while, I went through the whole house and I was like, F it, I ordered a new pair. Done. Canceled. But did I put myself through all that? But why? There's certain things that, yeah, I know I'm not alone in these kinds of behaviors, attitudes, reactions, whatever you want to call them, but it's kind of some shit. So then I tried to sit and meditate, and then the dogs were hungry, so I got to get up and feed and get going on my day. And I ordered new ones, and now those will probably show up, but okay, I can leave the story as the story that the scissors are missing. They just developed legs and walked into the universe. They walked out in the field. I don't know. No. It's the fact of, like, losing it. Anyways, some trauma. It's some trauma, and it's very hard to stop and identify what the feeling is when you're like, whoa, wow. So it takes a lot of work, a lot of diligence, and I understand why it's really hard for some people to move. I don't want to say past that. You don't move past any of it. It's a residual effect, like a chemical effect in your body that can surface and come up and rage, and then it comes down. And so maybe I had something pocketed up, and then I can't find the scissors, and so it just taps into it and goes, bah! Maybe another day, maybe later today, it wouldn't have blown me up that much. I kind of noticed this week that they were not visible in that drawer, but I figured they just slid under some. There's a bunch of stuff in deep bathroom drawers. You just throw everything in. It's like, yeah, but I dumped them out and I just cleaned them up and went through everything. So I don't know. Doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is identifying why something set us off for trauma. Bless you. Bless you all who deal with that. You know, I can kind of think of it like at that time period of going rage, kind of traumatic rage. It's like the ground under me is rocky and shaking and starting to crack. And you get in those, it's like crevices are building and starting to crack and maybe fall apart. And that's when you have to decide to, like, steady yourself or jump out of the way. Get to another spot that's more stable. That's why I ordered scissors. And then that's what kind of makes me feel like really kind of resentful is they were $7. Did I need to go through that for that? No. But still identifying this connection, going, oh, something is stuck here. And I actually don't think it's not always like right at the moment. It's something that's sitting in you. And maybe from the day before, a week ago, or it's just sitting there. And then something happens. Like I said, maybe later today that would have happened, or maybe something else would happen that would set me off. Identification, really looking inward and checking in and figuring out, like, wow, what's going on at that moment when you feel that coming on. And then inevitably there's sadness, remorse, guilt, shame. Anyways, like, doesn't matter. There's some, like, residual after when you peak like that in traumatic rage. I almost want to just call it that. It's traumatic rage. I think that's what I'll call it. Traumatic rage. I don't know if that makes sense, except right now it's a good term that I can at least be specific about when I talk about it, if I'm going to talk about this. Traumatic rage. Not dramatic rage, right? It's not drama, it's trauma. You know, it's just trauma speaking up. It's trauma speaking up that wants to be heard and not a finger shaken at it or disregarded as bad behavior. or someone needing anger management. Yeah, I think the understanding of anger management is wise, for sure. But this isn't, you're a bad person, you need anger management. This is, you have trauma and you need to process your trauma and do this in healthy ways, which has been a long time for me to stop the alcohol, to unlock those, unblock, not unlock, unblock those. I realize I have raccoon eyes. I'm outside a lot, which is great. It's nice, but it's getting warm. Yeah, those chakras, our meridians, our flow, and our spiritual vibration of finding our way and our guiding light and all of that. Anyways, so there you get that, like, some remorse. My dogs comfort me though too. I make sure that they know this is not them. And I feel bad, but they were there with me, through all of it, obviously not young childhood trauma, but most recent trauma and moving and turmoil and stuff, and life is still progressing. Life doesn't stop unless you die, right? But life just keeps going. So there's been some really good ups and downs since then. And we want the ups. But they've been up and down with me, up and down and moving around and going through a lot of changes. So they're pretty adaptable, but they comfort me, and I make sure that they get lots of love, which I'm going to shut up so I can go feed them and hopefully have a less stressed day. Fuck trauma. Fuck addiction. Fuck this recovery of addiction. Fuck my life, really. That's how I feel. And it ain't good to feel this way. So I know what I'm going to go do, and it's going to be good. I'm so tired of feeling worthless and not living life, but not knowing what to do. I don't know, some of you might relate. Hey there, I think that there's things that panic attacks. Why? When I feel trapped in my skin, I feel like I'm not doing anything in my life that is creative or proactive. Just following and getting lost in following. Like no direction. Where are the panic attacks rooted? Trauma, right? Trauma that the only thing that has been used to cope with them is alcohol or drugs. Substance abuse. And in two fine, lovely, eloquent words, substance abuse. And now, coping without it. Without alcohol. When trauma surfaces and speaks loud as a panic attack, where I feel like I can't handle the tasks in front of me. I have to escape. Therefore, the substance abuse. Escape, right? What do we do? What do we do? Oh, some of us have people to call, family to reach out to, friends, partners in the house. Yeah, but we really have to go within our core. I tend to want to do aggressive things when I hit panic attacks, such as alcohol or substance abuse, if you wish, or working out. Anyways, my day of tasks in front of me had to cease quickly for me to escape what I was in that environment, immediate environment, although that environment was not the cause. Simply something within, so small within the environment, triggering a panic attack, stemmed in trauma, triggering a desire to abuse some substance. And I can't, so I have to cope. My heart, my higher powers, yeah, multiple. I need all the help I can get. I don't limit myself to one. Whew. Fuck. Breathe. Breathe. Just breathe. That's what you gotta do. If there were one thing I could do, not substance abuse, I would, and I need to. And it shouldn't be necessarily physical. Meditate. Is this a time to meditate though? Is it a time to meditate when you're disturbed? But you can breathe. You can breathe. Does this video resonate with you? You get panic attacks that you think you're crazy and unwilling to handle in just your natural state, unwilling and do radical or unnecessary things through it. Yeah. Does it resonate with you? Yeah, okay. I hope you're well. Be well. Be safe. Seek help. I got help. I got a therapist. You got to have a therapist, a good one, or somebody, something besides suffering. Something besides suffering. Namaste. Breath. Took a breather. Gonna do some maintenance on my dog trail where I like to walk the doggies. That'll make me happy. I think it's overgrown and normally I keep up on it, but because I had injury from rollover accident, blacked out drunk, I wasn't able to keep up on it. But I feel like I can get that done today, and needing to do something physical but not radical after a panic attack coming down. I'd like to hear from any of you out there that it's a loop. That's the loop. Trauma induce some alcohol for reasons that it settles whatever within you, and trauma happens and alcohol and it surfaces, and it's the loop. We get in the loop, and I'm not drinking. I'm not going to cope with my panic attack of the trauma speaking up with alcohol. I'm going to recognize and honor that trauma to the best that I can. I have these magpies that just drive me nuts. Oh, they irritate me so bad. Irritability, that's another subject. Irritability. Stemmed in with all that. Can kind of poke at things. Anyways, gonna do some trail clearing. Hope you enjoy. What do you do for your trauma, speaking up, in panic attacks? That's how I at least see it. I'm not sure if that's not the right story for everyone. We all have our own story. I feel like my panic attacks are trauma saying, fucking deal with me! And what I do and how I react to that is the most important thing. It's the most important thing. And I would drink. And then I wrecked my truck, blacked out. And it didn't wreck me. So I'm here speaking light that we can cope in better ways without alcohol or addictions. Just be physical, creative, artistic. I'm developing some of those. I'm hoping to through this. My chain's a little dull, but I only have a couple cuts, I think. That's better. Awesome weed eating. That feels a little better. Physically though, it's still, we can't just use physical stuff to get rid of it either. The trauma, we have to somehow eject it from our body. It's trapped. I feel like, you know, we drink or use drugs and it just smothers it. Can't breathe. It's like suffocating inside of us. We're gonna cut. And then when we stop using, it's like, hey, there I am. Okay. Hello. Here we are. I seem to have been having a universal connection with few but grand folks. Wonderful folks who have suffered and are surviving hard trauma. So being able to relate to them, or what's the word? Validate with them, commensurate with them, even though we're different. Different stuff, different traumas, different reactions. It's kind of like crop farmers. They're in it for the same goal of producing a crop that's gonna go on a plate. Food, not fuel, I'm speaking. Food. Food farmers. They're all in it for the same goal, right? So we are too. That's traumatized. I don't mean to make fun of it. And I don't mean to offend by it. I mean, when I make my own little ha-has about it, it's me making dark humor in my own traumas. It works for me. I'd love to hear what works for you. Because that's the collaboration we can have in a community of folks trying to survive our traumas and heal from them. I'm no expert, no specialist. Just here to chat. next phase of this day of a panic attack surfacing. They're far and few anymore, but they used to be pretty immense on the onset of complex trauma after my partner suicided. That was a lot of panic attacks I experienced, and that was my first like real intimate experience with what deep panic attacks are like. And over the years, they've obviously, hopefully, and they have alleviated, but they do still come up. And maybe not just from that, but just anything that might trigger a trauma inside of it's recognizing that it's coming up. And I felt it even probably yesterday, but today it just spoke loud and panicked. So I'm going to weed eat, but I just had a divine conversation with my salt sister. We are salt of the earth. We are northern women from the salt of the earth. And she suffers an array of trauma herself and has been my cheerleader in the corner through my own traumas. That she's got so much wisdom in coping with them and not drinking, not suffocating them with alcohol, and has been my cheerleader for the trauma and now moving into sobriety. So kudos, lovely salt sister. But it helped. It helped. She gave me a gold star. That's what we need. Little gold star right on your cheek. Right on your cheek. Just put a gold star right there because you survived. Because you survived it. It may not even be the reaction through it that you should really look at. Don't look at the reactions. You're trying to work through them. It's the resilience that we can find later that gets the gold star too. You survived it. You did the best you could. You do the best you can through a panic attack or surviving your trauma, or coping through dealing with recovery and alcohol. Or if you're, I'm new to this. So, I'm new to experiencing life without reaching for the bottle. There's grief in quitting the bottle. My friend that was helping me after my wreck was weed eating a lot around the property, mowing, weed eating. So I'm using his adjustment on this because he's tall. Looking good. spackled. Weed spackled. That was a lot of weed eating. Well, that was a lot of weed eating. Now I'm going to log into Recovery Dharma and do, a recovery, do a, what do you call them? Oh my God, that was so hard. Oh, I just haven't worked really hard physically. I look forward to working out. My workout area needs cleaning. It's gross. Meeting I want to join here in just a couple minutes. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm gonna puke.
What are the ways that you might avoid or reduce suffering for yourself and others if you change these patterns? How have your addictive behaviors been a response to trauma and pain? What are some ways you can respond to trauma and pain with nature that nurture healing rather than avoidance? If you've experienced trauma from discrimination, what are the ways you can experience healing when you practice self-care? Consider opportunities to support social justice while allowing yourself to heal and practice compassion for yourself and others. Okay, briefly reading from page 151 under group sharing. Please limit your share to 3 or 4 minutes to ensure that everyone who wants to has
Reading from the Recovery Dharma
making the space
book.
as safe and welcoming as possible for all members of our community. Please be wise in your speech by trying to use
Turn
I
it off for
statements.
that. As you such a pretty girl. These dogs, they keep me going. Dogs have been incredible support in my life. Co-regulate, just petting them. Love my doggies. Getting quite a few pumpkins. Yes. I way overplanted. I love pumpkin patches. They're fun. Poor thing. Frost. Oh, and it looks like I need to get in here and weed eat. There ain't shit that came up in here. There's some stuff I think will come up. There's some beets. Oh boy. Kind of pathetic. Can't do it all. Can't be a good gardener with poor soil. Herb garden, all I got is lupine. But I'm so glad they came back. Oh, wowzer. They're like huge. My peas are doing good. Yay. I got some little beets. That's cool. So the Recovery Dharma meeting I just attended was amazing. That the reading was on trauma and how addiction is hooked into it. And that is exactly the thing that we get in the loop. The trauma comes up. We want the cope mechanism of the alcohol, right? I'm no expert. I'm just like, oh yeah, I see it. Oh my God, it's a loop. You gotta have an exit ramp out of the loop. Shit. And yep, every time that trauma speaks up in a panic attack, it's the desire to reach for the bottle. It's been my go-to. And not today. Panic attack didn't get served up with alcohol. Got out weed eated. Jeez. And then attended meditation. The Recovery Dharma meetings I've been attending, at least, there's so many of them, but the ones I've been on typically are reading from a variety of books, 12 Steps to Recovery, or 12 Steps to Recovery, Recovery Dharma book. There's different ones, but a reading and a meditation and shares. So it's lovely. They're lovely, and I feel better. And I'm not gonna shoot myself down because I reacted to it and had to get out of the environment I was in so I could do something else to refocus. And I went into a panic attack once I tried to shift. And I guess I needed that. You need the purge. If it's coming out, let it out. I mean, it needs to come out. For fuck's sake, let it out. Hopefully just build more resilience. But I won't say that panic attacks will ever go away. They're just hopefully recognize. But they kind of build, right? Oops. Well, the garden is what it is, and I'm not going to worry about it because I got poor soil, and one day I will probably live somewhere else, and if I own it, then I'll make myself a badass garden. If you got something to share, comment. Love to hear from you. How you're doing. And recoveries from trauma, addiction, recovery. Be well. So I'm gonna stand over here and talk because look at that. It's the next day. And I have residual shame for departing my tasks at hand yesterday, but I had to attend to myself. Yes. Had a lovely Dharma meditation this morning with a group, and then a later chat with someone from the group, which is all virtual, so that was lovely. Divine intervention right there. And then I walked out my door and I went, oh my God, look at that. Remember to breathe. One thing I learned today that was a blessing was learning to meditate. It's not learning, if I can get this right, it's new, right? I am no expert. I'll say it again. Learning. Meditation doesn't just quiet the mind. It retrains it. The practice initiates a change in us, a change in the relationship with our mind. It doesn't train the mind to just be calm and quiet all the time. It retrains, it rewires, and it's a practice, right? It's a meditation practice. Is that the more you do meditation, not to train the mind to be quiet or calm, it rewires our like spiritual emotional connection relationship with the mind. Let me grasp that. When things surface and we want to go on a ride with the mind, that we're able to have that more resilience. Panic attacks, whole other pool of whatever for you, whatever they are. Panic attacks, different for everyone. We are not the same, but we are not alone. It's so pretty, so pretty. So we rewire our connection, our relationship with our mind to not go on the ride. When we have a thought that makes us feel shitty about ourselves, we don't go on that ride. We can come back to the breath. Or the doggies. Come back to the doggies. Oh, sweet babies. If you have the means to adopt a dog and you have a need for some connection, they're amazing. Doggies are amazing. We're not the same, but we're not alone. So if any of this resonates with you, please connect. Thank you. Wonderful. Have a blessed namaste day.